Hello and welcome to yet another lecture for World of Programming. And in today's lecture, we will be now discussing how to accept values from the user. Up till now, all the programs which we have done, all the concepts which we have gone through in Java, we have not accepted any values from the user. We have taken our own values in every program. But in today's lecture, I will be teaching my audience the first and the most basic method by which one can accept values in Java from the user. And this method is called as command line arguments. So what is the concept of command line arguments? If you remember, in one of the lectures when I was discussing the Hello World program and when we were discussing the syntax of the void main function, at that point of time I had made it clear that the array which we pass in the void main function is used for accepting command line arguments. It is now that we will see the actual usage of these command line arguments. So first of all, let us understand that why are they called as command line arguments? The reason for this is because these values are entered at the time when you are executing a Java program. So when I run a Java program, we know that there are two steps to it. Step number one, where we have to compile the program. And for compilation, the expression that we write or the statement that we write is javac space and the name of the file. Once the program is compiled and it is error-free, we move on to executing it. And to execute, we write down the statement Java followed by the name of the class. So at this point, when we are executing the program, this is where you will be passing the values. That is the reason they are called as command line arguments. Now these values which we enter at the time of execution, these values get stored in the string array which is passed in the void main function. Since my audience is still not aware about the concept of an array is nothing but a group of values. Let's say you have 5 people sitting together and discussing something, we would refer to them as a group. When you have a single person and when you have a group, same way I have a single value and I have a group of values. So when you have a group of values, we call them as an array. And every array is of a particular type. So for example, if I have a group of 5 boys, I'll say it's a group of boys. If I have 5 girls, I'll say it's a group of 5 girls. Same way, if I have a group of 5 integer values, I'll call it as an integer array. If I have a group of 5 decimal values, I can call it as a float array. If I have a group of 5 values, then it will be called as a string array. So these values which are entered at the time of program execution get stored in the string array which is passed in the void main function. Now the question is, how do we retrieve the values from the string array? So in an array, for those who are unaware about the concept of an array, in an array every value is numbered and the numbering starts from 0. The first value is stored at position 0. The second value is stored at position 1. The next value is stored at position 2, and so on and so forth. So let's take an example. Suppose you have created a class by the name of ABC in which you need a string value to be accepted. Now, as I explained before, this value will be passed at the time of program execution. How? It is by this manner. So we write Java, we write the name of the class, that is ABC, followed by the value which I want to pass. If you need another value that has to be sent, then you will again put a space after hello and submit the next value. So as many number of values that you want to give to the program, you just have to keep putting space and entering all the values. So Java space class name space and the list of values separated from each other by space. Now in this example, the first value hello will be stored in the string array at the first position, which is numbered as 0. In an array, we have to remember this. Every value is numbered and the numbering of the values doesn't start from 1 but it starts from 0. So the first value is stored at position 0. The next value is stored at position 1. The third value will be stored at position 2 and so on. So the first value is getting stored in the array at position 0. To retrieve the value from the array, we use this syntax wherein we write down the array name and we write down the position number where the value will be stored. So if you are passing only one value to the array, we know that this value will be stored at position 0 and you can access it in the same manner. So you write down the array name and you write down the position where the value has been stored. If suppose you have passed two values to the array, the first value you can retrieve at position 0 and the next value can be retrieved at position 1. So this is the concept of command line arguments, the most basic way by which you can accept values in a Java program. Let's practice this further. So I have two programs given for practice. The first one is where you have to accept the username and you have to print a welcome message for the user. So it will be welcome and the username followed. So first let us do this program. We'll open Notepad. Let's put a comment. Program to practice command line arguments. So we start with a class by the name of welcome. Within the class we have the void main function. So public static void main, and this is our string array by the name of args. As I've mentioned before, you can give any other name to the array. So here we create a string variable name in which we will be storing the value entered by the user. Since it is only one value, it will be at position 0. And now using the println function, we are printing a welcome message for the user with his name. So we write welcome followed by the name of the person. Let's save this program. By the name of welcome.java. Let's now open the command prompt. First of all, we need to enter our folder where the program is stored. CD, that is change directory, followed by the program path. And now we have to set path to the JDK bin folder. So set path is equal to copy down the bin path and we paste it over here. Javac, the name of the program, welcome.java. And now to execute Java followed by the username, let's say ABC. Java, first of all, we will write down the name of our class followed by the username that you want to give, that is ABC. So you have welcome ABC printed on the command prompt. Let us see another example where instead of string value, you want to accept integer value. So I have a class called as add. Again, void main. Now this time it's not a string value, it's an integer value. My second question, that is, you have to accept two numbers using command line arguments and add them to show their sum. Now if I write a statement like this, it will throw an error because the string array args is of the type string, whereas the value that I want is an integer. So I need to convert from string into an integer type. To do this, I cannot use typecasting, which I had explained in the previous lecture. The reason because string is not a data type, string is a class. So typecasting will not work over here. To convert from string to integer, I will use a function called as integer.parseInt. These are wrapper class functions. It will convert the string value into an integer value. Same way for the second value as well, integer.parseInt. And now I'll access the second value from the array, which will be stored at location 1. Let's add the two values. So answer will be equal to num1 plus num2. And let's print the answer. The sum is followed by the answer. Let's save this by the name of add.java. We'll compile the program. So javac add.java. To execute Java, space the name of the class, that is add, space the two values that need to be given as an input. The sum is 11. So as you can see, we have accepted numbers also using command line arguments, and later on we have converted the number to the appropriate data type in order to perform the operation. Likewise, instead of integer, if you required float values, then you would have used the function as float.parsefloat. Still, it would have worked in the same way. So instead of this, you just had to change it to float.parsefloat. Same goes for this. And here, even the data type would change to float then. Everywhere. Compile this and give decimal values as input, and you will see your answer. So hope you've understood the concept, and for any queries, write to farida.musaddi@gmail.com.